YouTube, what is good, man? Coach Wiz, we back with another reaction video. We got Larry Bird's most savage moments. This is by Nonstop. Should be a good one. Yo, again, if you want to talk about personal training, if you're a hooper and you want to talk about personal training, or if you're your average Joe and you want to talk about personal training, hit me up on my email. I got you. Also, those of you, well, some of you know that this channel was a basketball training channel initially. I have restarted that channel, Work with Wiz. Go tap into that for your drills and skill work and exercise specific movements for basketball players. Go over there. You feel me? This is for reactions only now because I'm trying to get paid. No, shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Much love. I love the support. I'm loving the comments. I'm loving y'all talking crazy to me. I love talking crazy to y'all. It's a vibe, man. It's all love here. But let's get into it. Larry Bird's most savage moments. Let's go.
Why Larry Bird was called legend was his brilliance as a basketball player, and the other part were his legendary and vicious trash-talking skills. Bird was a killer on the court. He had a foul mouth, and he wasn't afraid of anybody. This explosive combination gave birth to some of the most ruthless trash-talking stories in NBA history. So here are the 10 best Larry Bird savage moments.
Let's go.
1988 three-point shooting contest. The three-point shot in the NBA was first introduced in the 1979 NBA season, Larry's rookie year. 7 years later, at the 1986 All-Star Weekend in Dallas, the NBA brought the first official three-point shooting contest to the scene. Larry won it and repeated next year at the All-Star Game in Seattle. In 1988, he was going for a three-peat in Chicago. Before the start of the contest, Bird entered the locker room, did not speak a word to the other competitors, and just took a good look at them. He finally said, "I'm just looking which one of you is going to come in second." The room.
Bird was so disrespectful. Like what?
Room was filled with silence because they all knew what kind of a shooter Bird was. Of course, Larry would go on to win again, proving that he's the best shooter in the world. He won without taking off his tracksuit, famously raising his hand while the contest clinching three.
Yo, I don't know if any of y'all have been in a three-point shooter. I've been in plenty. To do that in a tracksuit is kind of crazy. And kind of impressive. And kind of goated, honestly. The shorts I could do without. But to win an NBA three-point shootout, still in your warm-up, kind of crazy.
Three was still in the air. Response to Craig Hodges. Craig Hodges was one of the best shooters in the 80s, and he competed in the three-point shooting contest with Larry each time Bird was participating. Larry won 3 times, and Craig finished second twice. When Hodges finally took home the title of the best three-point shooter at the All-Star Weekend in 1989, reporters asked him if the main reason for his victory was Bird's injury and non-participation. Craig said, "Larry knows where he can find me," and Bird replied, "I know where, at the end of the Chicago Bulls bench." The left.
Larry, you ain't have to say that, man. You could have said, "Let's do it." You could have said anything. Why are you coming at that man like that? Hey, shout out to Craig Hodges though. Craig Hodges actually could shoot. You know, if you elevate a lot on your jump shot, it's always tougher for those players to win the three-point shootout. But he ain't stand a chance against Bird regardless. But Bird, why you say that?
Left-handed game. Larry Bird was in the prime of his basketball brilliance in the 85-86 season when he led the Celtics to the title. They lost only 1 game at home throughout the season and the playoffs, setting.
Is that Celtics team the best team ever? Let me know in the comments.
An NBA record with 50-1. The Portland Trailblazers were the only team to defeat the Celtics at home in December, so they were a good bet to win in front of their crowd in February. Before the game, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot all his shots with his left hand, except long jumpers. This was the last game of a long road trip. Larry would always find new motivations and challenges to get through the monotonous grind of the regular season. In the game against Portland, he'd go on to have one of the most memorable games of his career. He hit a shot to send the game to overtime and then hit a game winner in the OT. Bird finished the game with 47 points, with 14 rebounds and 11 assists. He scored 22 points with his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun, which tells you.
Yo, Larry was acting like these guys ain't NBA players. And NBA too. With the left?
You how insanely good and confident this guy was. White guys guarding him. Larry is not white. Larry is clear, said Bill Murray in Space Jam, while explaining Bird's ethnicity to Michael Jordan. Larry Bird had skills for days. He was thinking the game 3 moves in advance. His jump shot was money. He was nimble at 6'9", but he wasn't by any means an athletic player. Bird suffered from WMCJ syndrome, which stands for White Men Can't Jump, and he was aware of it. On one occasion, he called basketball a black man's game due to the natural ability and athleticism of African-American players. Because of that, he hated when the opposing teams would defend him with another white guy. Bird said that it was disrespectful to his greatness because he was dropping 30 and 40 on the most athletic players in the league. So if you put an unathletic white guy on him, that's barbecue chicken right there. In the trainer's lap.
Yo, Larry was crazy. He said it's a black man's game. Don't put no white dude on me. Larry Fred. Yo, Larry is goated for sure.
The highest scoring game in Larry Bird's career came in the 1986 season, in a game against Dominique Wilkins in the Atlanta Hawks. At the beginning of the first quarter, it was obvious that Larry is in the zone. He'd hit everything he threw to the basket, with the announcers repeatedly saying they were watching the greatest shooting exhibition in basketball history. Bird scored 60 on 61% shooting and 15 of 16 on free throws, hitting ridiculous shots over several players. During the game, he suddenly said, "in the trainer's lap," to Hawks players, which meant he would try to make a 3 from the corner near the opposing bench. He got the ball, made the shot, and one Hawks player who tried to guard him tripped over and fell exactly into the trainer's lap, just like Bird predicted. The Hawks bench was so amazed that they were laughing and high-fiving each other, totally perplexed by Bird's brilliance. After that, they were fined by their coach Mike Fratello for cheering on the opposing player, tormenting Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was one of the best defenders in NBA history, with quick feet, long arms, and a
Real quick, what y'all think about a Dennis Rodman video? What y'all think about that?
motor that never shut down. He was a pest, an annoying pest who never stopped guarding, provoking, and getting into everybody's face. And he used to be a nightmare for scorers around the NBA. However, when he was just starting out, he needed to get some schooling from Bird. After Larry scored 4 consecutive shots over Rodman, he opened his mean mouth and started destroying Rodman. Bird started yelling at Rodman's coach, Chuck Daly. "Who's guarding me, Chuck? Is anyone guarding me? You better get someone on me. I'm going to go for 60.
Nah. That's so embarrassing. He talking to the coach like Dennis ain't even there. Yo, that is wild. Yo, that's crazy. And Dennis Rodman, come on, man, we know Worm. No.
Even though Rodman was almost superglued to him in an effort to deny him the ball, Bird was at his sarcastic best. "I'm open. Hurry up before they notice nobody is guarding me." Merry effing Christmas. 1990. Larry Bird loved to play against the Indiana Pacers, where he was always greeted as a king. It was where the hick from French Lick grew up, made his first basketball steps, and took Indiana State University.
Indiana basketball state, huh? Come on, man. Y'all know how we get down.
to the 1979 NCAA Finals. And the game Boston played against the Pacers played on December 26, 1990, will forever be etched in memory of the Pacers shooting guard, Chuck Rifleman Person. Before the game, Person said to the reporters, "Rifleman is in the building. I'm going bird hunting today." At the tip-off, Bird replied to Person that he has a Christmas present waiting for him. While Chuck sat on a bench during the game, Bird received the ball in the corner and shot a three-pointer. As the ball was flying towards the basket, Bird turned to Person and said, "Merry effing Christmas." The ball, of course, came in without touching the rim, torching the Suns' bench. The best teams in the NBA often coast through the regular season and can lose their edge and focus when playing against mediocre opponents. In one game against the Phoenix Suns, the Celtics lost a double-digit lead and were trailing by 2 in the final seconds. The Celtics had the possession, and they could tie the game and go to overtime or win it with a 3. Larry knew his Celtics shouldn't be losing a game to the Suns, and he wanted to play no overtime. So he went to the Suns bench and told all the players and coaches what was about to happen. "Yeah, I'm going to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired."
Hey, man, what is going on, man? How you got time to be doing all this? Like you're in the NBA with the best players in the world. You're just walking over to people's benches talking crazy. You talking crazy to the coach. Yo, what? Yo, Larry Bird to me is pretty underrated, underappreciated. I'm just saying, man. You know, we talk about Mike. Some people talk about LeBron, Kareem, Kobe, Magic. Y'all, hey, we gotta stop forgetting Larry Bird. Larry Bird is probably the most clutch player ever, and he's also probably the most overall, all-around basketball player. I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get. I don't know. I don't get it.
Of this. Unsurprisingly, he lived up to his word. As the ball was still in the air, he turned towards the Phoenix bench and yelled, "Told you so," as the ball was going through the net, calling his shot against Xavier McDaniel. Xavier McDaniel was one of the most notorious NBA players in the 80s. And on the courts, he liked to get physical, like Olivia Newton-John. When he was playing for the Sonics and the Knicks, nobody was really messing with X-Man. However, Bird was not afraid of a scuffle, and there are multiple stories of Larry participating in bar fights during his NBA career. In a crowded Supersonics arena, Boston and Seattle played a close game tied just 10 seconds before the end. At that point, Celtics coach Casey Jones called a timeout, and Bird confidently told him to just give him the ball and that the others move the hell out of the way. On his way back to the floor, Larry said, "That's exactly where I'll get the ball, and I'll score the game winner in your face." While X-Man replied, "I know you will get it there. I'm waiting for you." Bird received the ball right where he said he would and made a tough fadeaway shot. After Bird realized there were still 2 seconds left, he told McDaniel, "Damn, I didn't want to leave 2 seconds on the clock." While X-Man walked back to the Sonics bench in disbelief, tormenting a young Clyde Drexler. Before Clyde Drexler came into the NBA, he was one of the best players in college basketball, forming the famous Phi Slamma Jamma with Hakeem Olajuwon at the University of Houston. Drexler was selected by the Blazers with the 14th pick in the 1983 NBA draft.
Hey, what y'all think about Clyde? Y'all think Clyde underrated? I had a conversation with somebody and they told me they thought Clyde was overrated. What y'all think about that? Let me know what y'all think about Clyde Drexler. That's another player I've been thinking about doing a video on. I get a lot of mixed feelings about Clyde. I'm curious what y'all think.
And even as a rookie, he was already one of the most athletic guys at his position. However, Bird wasn't impressed. When Drexler subbed in the game against the Celtics, he started guarding Bird. Larry smiled at him and mockingly said, "You can't stop me. You're a rookie. You don't know anything." He would proceed to hit jump shot after jump shot over Drexler before the Blazers coach had mercy on him and subbed him out, while Bird was laughing at Clyde on the way to the bench.
Yo, that is it. Shout out to Nonstop, man, for another fire video. I can watch Larry Bird videos all day. All day. Just saying, I could watch them all day, man. Shout out to Larry Bird, man. One of the greatest players ever. Ever. Period. But I'm Coach Wiz. I'm up out of here, man. Let me know what y'all want to see next, man. Give me some video ideas, some players, some topics, whatever. You feel me? I definitely am trying to respond to all of you guys. I appreciate y'all watching. I really do, man. I am gone.